Hi friends, in this video I'm just going to explain about the ACI vzAny. Okay, so this is a quick content of what we are going to look at it. What is vzAny? What are the advantages of vzAny? And I'll just show you about the epic objects, how it interacts, then the topology plus and then the verification. Okay, so we'll just look at what is vzAny. Okay, so the vzAny is a managed object provides a convenient way of associating all endpoint groups in a VRF instance to one or more contracts instead of creating a separate contract relation for each EPGs. Okay, so this is just a basic about what is vzAny. Okay, but the way it brings on the fabric level, or is if it's the enterprise level customers, so the value it brings is more than what is said here. Okay, then this is the advantage of vzAny. So if you just look at the ACI TCAM table, there are two TCAMs table. One is for the policy TCAM, which contains the entries of endpoint groups. The another is the app TCAM table. Okay, so if it's a very basic mid-level customers, you don't have much entries out there. But if you can consider enterprise level customers, obviously a TCAM, more the TCAM entry exists, that will give lot of performance degradation. So you should make sure that the policy TCAM table is in control well, so that that traffic will be pushed based on that. Okay, so when you look at it, if you say about the ARI based system, the policy TCAM size is 4K, but for the ALE2 base it is 32K. Okay, so if it's a scale environment, you should make sure the usage is right up to the entry, and the TCAM entries are generally specified to each endpoint groups. Okay, if you say in other words, it's the same contract is reused. Like for example, you have a contract one and you have multiple edges, you just keep consuming the contract, and then each entry between the TCAM table keeps a note of. Okay, that's the advantage of using the vzAny over this kind of real-time issues. Okay, then we'll just look at it, the vzAny, what it brings. Now what I'm going to explain you is this is the ACI Fabric. These are the EPGs, means the consumer EPGs, where I mentioned VRF-C is a consumer and VRF is a provider. Okay, so in this case the servers will be of like 2 3 or more. There won't be much change on the server level configuration, or you say on the scale of that. So but when you say about the consumer from the client side, today there will be a customer, two customers will be using it. Later point of time there will be keep on growing, like you say 10 100 thousands of customers. So in this case, if you are using multiple, okay, if you're using consume multiple contract to each EPGs, then what you see here exactly matches that. Okay, so we'll keep multiple entries onto the TCAM table, policy TCAM table, wherein when you have thousands of EPGs consuming the same contract, there will be thousands of entries. Okay, so when you look at it, consider this is a vzAny. Without vzAny, this like of a concept on single VRF, then you look at it that like the like a dual VRF, where one is the provider, one is the consumer. So consider this diagram. So this is without vzAny. So you have VRF1, VRF2. Consider this is a consumer and this is a provider. So this provider provides a contract, and each EPGs will be consuming it. So each is a the TCAM. If you say this TCAM policy TCAM, it is like you have each entry, you have EPG1 consumer and the provider will be pro EPG. So there will be entry 1, entry 2, entry 3. So if you have thousands, you'll have 1000 entries over here, or 10,000 entries. Okay, but when you consider with vzAny, okay, you just have only one contract. Okay, and just the provider provides it and consumer consume it. Okay, so as long it keeps on growing here, okay, you still uses when so new EPG is added, he knows what to do it. So this all this EPG configurations, okay, this will be applied on the WRF level. Okay, so this is about the vzAny. Let's look at the topology what tried here. Okay, so consider this is the tenant. Okay, the tenant is vzAny. So you have a WRF provider and you have WRF consumer. Okay, and he has an EPG, he has a BD, and there's a subnet attached to the EPG, and there is a VM which is on the IP 10.10.10.10. Okay, and this comes on the subnet of 10.10.10.0/24, and you say there are two consumers. This is EPG1, EPG C1 and EPG C2. Okay, and EPG-C1 has a BD connector, and it has a subnet of 192.168.10.1/24, and the VM comes on 10.10. Okay, the next is the EPG-C2, which has same. It has another BD as well as another subnet which has 20.1/24, plus it has a VM. Okay, then let's quickly go through, like, so if you look at this, the vCenter, you have consumer VM. Okay, and if you see this IP, it is of 192.168.10.10. Okay, okay, what you see here. And if you look at the provider, okay, so this is it. Okay, this is a sub 10 10 10 10 10. Okay, so this we have to make sure that the consumer is able to ping to the provider. Okay, so the contract is ICMP. I just allowed ICMP to make the communication from the consumer to the provider. Okay, so just quickly look at the tenant what I've created here. If you want, you can go back forth. So you see here, this is an app profile, and you have 3 EPGs. This is like when you keep adding EPGs, you don't have to worry about whether you have to consume the contract at all. So I'll just go through the EPG1 and EPG1. Okay, and you have subnet here. Okay, same like EPG2, you have a subnet here. Okay, then you have a provider EPG, and itself we have a subnet. Okay, so here right now you have a BD which is associated to each EPG. The C1 is for the EPG C1, C2, and the provider. And there are two verbs created, right? This is a consumer, this is a provider. So you see here two verbs. Okay, and there is a contract here. Okay, so this contract I just enable ICMP communication. Okay, so this is consumed from the common, or if you want to create a separate one for the tenant, you can create it as well. Okay, so here the main things about how you do before consuming any contract. You go to the EPG, you go to contract, and you have to consume it. So you have for each EPG, if you are using the traditional way of using it, you have to go to each EPGs and you have to add the contract. Okay, since if you see here the server, there are only much change. So servers always provides a contract from the EPG level, whereas if you say about the consumer, he always consume on the WERF level. Okay, so if you go here, so EPG provided the server who is going to provide it, so better go to contract and you just do a provider contract. Okay, and now consider you have to do workflow. Okay, you have to do the contract consumption of the workflow. So this is the way you have to go. VRF, select the VRF, EPG collections or VRF. Okay, here you have to do, there are two way. One is provider contract, another is consumer contract. Okay, you can just do add here. Okay, and you can see which work to, I mean which contract to choose here. Okay, once you update it, it will be updated here. So that is how it is, configuration is pushed over this. Okay, so now consider this is on the work level, right? What you see, as long, because all this consumer EPG will be on this verb. If you look at this EPG C1, and if you look at the policy, okay, so this is on the BD. Okay, and the BD goes onto the verb. Okay, okay, this goes on this verb. Okay, so this is how it is. So if you look at the app profile topology, so now what you see, you have a provider here and there are two consumer, that is any. Okay, as long as the CPG extends, it will use this, okay, contract, so you don't have to worry if it is expense or well. So okay, so in order to reduce the TCAM size, okay, so this is a configuration, so it has been pushed. So if you look at the consumer, so the provider is what you looked at here, and this is the topology. So this is the consumer and this is the provider. So I'm trying to, from this VM 10.10, I'm trying to ping to 10 10 10 10 10. Okay, so ping 10 10. Okay, so it works. Okay, so if you look at the EPG, so you have this VM, right? 10 10, you have EPG2 C2, okay, 20, and you have the provider. Okay. Okay, so this is a quick intro about the vzAny. Hope this helps you in the way you deploy it. Okay, thanks for watching. Please like and give comments. Thanks.